in today's video, we're going to be talking about health. So I think this is a essential pillar in life. Something was brought up to me, or brought to my attention rather, that based on what you know your life to be and the experiences you've had and what you're striving for, whether it be your purpose, your ambitions, dreams, desires, what is your why? What is your how to achieve that? Based on what I said prior, is what you understand the world, right, as currently. Whatever that is, that answer you come up with or formulate, and which is a good answer to think about in and of itself, and we can explore that further. But the idea is here, you're focusing on these things and you're trying to get them done. But what would happen if you're, let's say, pursuing to be a entrepreneur and you die tomorrow because you never took care of yourself, you didn't get the adequate amount of sleep, you never did exercise, you never ate right? These are things that are important. Now, I am by no means a medical doctor or a medical professional, but in general, the essence of the idea of having good health, having a positive health span, ability to live a quality life, especially as you age and you don't experience the impairities that you would normally if compared to a person of the same age, right? So, or even in the present, having just the general boost of good health will help you excel, be better than the competition, and be able to navigate that life span of it, the longevity portion, with more certainty. So I'm going to point out some things and really give some resources out here, but I think it's essential, to do a couple of different things. Blood work would be some point in time a beneficial thing to look into. It really gives you complete insight that you otherwise would never have if you were to just carry on with your life. So that is one thing I suggest. And I think in the literature, in the expertise that's out there, it is something that is very, very much pushed on because you can really see what's going on. So blood work's a big thing. Obviously, exercise is essential. Obviously, proper nutrition is essential. And just those two things alone will go a long way. And then you can look into supplementation. That's also something that will boost the playing field. Not necessary, but will definitely enhance your ability to achieve that health, good, great quality health, and the health span will improve from that as well. And we're not saying, or I'm not saying by any means to be the extreme in any of these categories, but to be better than nothing is definitely the direction we want to head. And some resources, Dr. Attia, he is a leading researcher, practical doctor in this field of longevity, lifespan, health span. He has done lots of independent research, lots of work with patients who are trying to solve these types of issues, and has had a lot of case study informally through working with his patients at his clinic. He produced a book that took him about 6 years to write. I highly recommend reading it. I have it myself. I'm going through the book right now. Outlive the Science and Art of Longevity is a really good book, and it breaks down kind of the key things. And I don't really want to spoil the book itself, but he really helps you understand what are the 4 things that will kill you. And we should be shifting our mindset from treating the ailment as it happens and just extending the time in which you'll die from it to a perspective of, hey, let's understand what's the cause or the precursors to these things that will ultimately kill you, and let's look to detect and prevent as soon as we can. So putting in the measures that you can to see the four horsemen, as he calls it, the four horsemen of death, play out, understanding, hey, what's the timeline of these things? How do these things look like in their life cycle? And where can we pinpoint them early? So we're always looking to see where they're at in their track, because they will happen at some point. And then also understanding what leads up to these things. Let's do what we can to prevent that and stop those early footholds from gaining traction, right? So those are his principles, and that's what he ensures to do. So we want to make sure that we are preventing and detecting early and throughout. So that's just one thing. His book, very good. He also has a podcast. There's a member version. There's also a free version. Very good information through there, and they explore a lot of good things. As well as another resource is Andrew Huberman. He is amazing. He has a wide breadth of guests. Even Dr. Attia himself has been on the show, and Andrew Huberman has been on Dr. Attia's show as well. But he has tons of scientists, tons of researchers, and doctors and physical therapists, and et cetera, that explore a lot of the things about optimization on health, what things you can do to better enhance your abilities as a human being, whether it's through goal building or and he really breaks down the science and the peer research and all the types of research done on these categories. So whether it's hair loss, or talking about Neuralink, or mental training and visualization, stress, eating, and aging, all these different things, topics he's had from different guests, they really reference the literature, they really reference the science, and they break down the facts. They don't really go into some theoretical exploration, but it's all backed by facts and predicated on things that have had weight and have happened. Excuse me. So he's another great resource to leverage amongst the many, and you'll even find that these guests have their own things as well. Some of them that, if you find interesting, you can explore, and they will help you optimize your life and improve your health, and improve your cognition, improve your etc. Name it, right? They will help in some aspect make you better, whether it's your sleep, nutrition, exercise, yada yada. Now, outside of these things, what are the most crucial, right? Sleep. Sleep is a paramount pillar in just your ability to live a healthier life. Nutrition as well, because metabolic health is one of the most important things we need to safeguard, and it is actually one of the four horsemen that Dr. Attia refers to. The adverse effects of poor metabolic health can lead to a lot of the other issues that will eventually kill you. So nutrition is optimal here. You also want proper exercise. Exercise is essential. We want to keep muscle, because as you lose muscle over time, that's where your probability increases to have an accident that you cannot recover from and die because you lose what you don't use. So building that muscle, and also not only in the physical sense of your leg muscles, arm muscles, whatever, but your heart as a muscle itself, and working that. And he recommends, and there's tons of science behind different methods, but he recommends that the minimum of anything in exercise is at least 3 hours a week, where you're doing some sort of strength training, hypertrophy strength training, right? Some sort of cardio. I believe there's a certain state, I think it might be steady state cardio. I have to double check that. And like I said, it's a reference in his book, and I'm not a medical professional, but he recommends a certain state of cardio where you can speak, but it's not comfortable to have a full conversation, but you can speak a little bit here and there, and that's the state of cardio you should be in. And then also something that is coordinating. So whether you're playing basketball recreationally, or soccer, or flag football, or softball, things that are working on your ability to be coordinated. So some level of doing that, whether it's dance, some dance class, boxing, things that to keep you coordinated. That coordination piece is also key. That's something that he touches briefly. He actually touched on it today in his podcast as well. And then nutrition, there's a whole slew of things you can talk about nutrition. Nutrition is a very controversial topic as is. But really comes down to just at the bare minimum, just eat stuff that is better for you, right? You can go down the diets and the nutrition plans and figure out what might be something that's more approachable for you. I do keto. That works for me. I have certain issues where I can't eat certain things. My stomach will react negatively. I also will break out from certain food. So I have to really limit and restrict my eating to certain things. On the weekend, I will have one meal or where I'll go and I'll, break out of keto and just to try to enjoy a higher quality of life, right? But in essence, not if you're eating, McDonald's every single day, maybe cut that out. If you're drinking soda every day, maybe cut that out. Maybe start with those things, like eating more whole fruits and vegetables and protein, natural source protein, like out of meats, fish, poultry, beef. Those are places to kind of move towards whole food type of items where it's just a single ingredient, and it's minimally processed. Those are kind of that's kind of the direction you want to head. Obviously, whatever works best for you works best for you. As far as what pairing of food is presented, right, and the diets and all that stuff like that. But at the very minimum, at the very least, eating just cleaner foods, not eating all this junk food and all desserts and blah blah blah. Eating the right stuff that's going to be taken in better for your body as proper fuel. And then lots of water, high water intake. All things considered, right? We're assuming the average person. Some people have different water tolerances. Excuse me. But you figure out whatever balance of that stuff, and that's a science in and of itself. And there's plenty of great videos out there that will tell you that as far as calories and yada yada. If you're trying to gain weight, lose weight, whatever your goals are. But in general, just eat to be more conscious of, hey, your body is a vehicle. Let's give it the proper fuel it needs. If you had a Audi, you're not going to give it regular. You're going to give it premium, right? You want to give it the appropriate fuel for it to last long and be at its optimal performance. The same thing with human beings in that sense. So exercise, nutrition, sleep, get lots of sleep. 7 to 8 hours is ideal. 8 hours more beneficial. Sleeping and getting the appropriate amount of sleep is something that is overlooked and is definitely a huge factor in mortality as far as it relates to cardiovascular health. And also just cognitive function and performance and everything else like that. So those are some things. And then also if you're looking to pick out exercise routines, just another helpful thing is Musclewiki. Pick a muscle and it kind of gives you exercises you can do. As far as exercise splits and etc., there's tons of science out there on what you can do. And actually Andrew Huberman has a great podcast with, I think it's Dr. Lang, or not Dr. Lang, Andy Galpin. Andy Galpin, he has a great mini series with him on all about the best, based on what your goals are, right? The best kind of pairs of different types of workout routines to explore. So that's something you can reference. Andy Galpin works with UFC fighters. He works with a lot of athletes, and he does a lot of research himself as he runs a lab there where they do research. So those are just some resources here to help. And the idea here is, hey, look, you cannot be the best at whatever you're looking to be the best at, or achieve whatever you're looking to achieve, or even the simplest of things that you're looking forward to on a day-to-day basis. That will come to a halt if you're dead, right? If you don't take care of yourself, if you are always sick and you're missing out on life and it passes you by. So these are some things to kind of just look at. I know that it's a lot, and there's so much more to even explore about this topic, but I'm not a medical professional. I just want to give at least some awareness to that idea, and hopefully you find this helpful.